open your mind and journey through the cosmos of the universe. This is Bridging Realms with Dr. Gene Carlisle and False Freedom 691.
Back in Studio 51, I am Dr. Gene Carlisle.
And I am False Freedom 691.
We're here with another episode of Bridging Realms, and we're going to be talking about some really cosmic shit today.
Yeah, we sure are, Doc. Today we're going to be covering a subject that you are intensely familiar with, astral projection.
Yes, I am. This is something I have a lot of experience with, and I'm very excited to share it with the listener. You know, a lot of times we're researching these things, learning new things ourselves, and then sharing it with the listener. And this is something, I've done so much research in, have so much experience in, and I'm very, very excited, like I said, to share it with the listener, to share it with you, False. I know you're interested in getting into this kind of mind realm, you know?
Yeah, I'm just really interested in exploring kind of uncharted regions for myself, being able to go there kind of in an undetected manner, you know, just the kind of places I can't normally get into across the world, even in my own backyard, if you know what I mean.
I definitely think I know what you mean there, False, and we're hoping to encourage you, the listener, like False, to get out into these new uncharted realms, you know, do new things. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be a positive episode, you know. We get into some conspiracy realms that can get disheartening, you know, when you get into stuff about the government cover-ups and these secret black ops programs and clandestine organizations, and it can get, you know, overwhelming. And I feel like what we're going to talk about today is some empowering stuff, like empowering the human mind and knowing, you know, how powerful you are as a cosmic being, and teaching you some new tools to work out your brain muscle. You know, the brain is an organ, it is a muscle, it is a cosmic receiver and antennae. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And you know, it's really nice. We've dealt with some really controversial topics as of late. It's nice to get back in the realm of freeing the mind and bridging the realms and getting far away from the CP spectrum.
Right. Like we talked about before, False only likes barely legal stuff. No CP around here. And we don't. We want to focus on stuff like that is positively, you know, bettering you as a human and a cosmic being. And that's what we're going to do with this episode today. So nothing, you know, we may get into a little CIA talk with some declassified programs that they have put out there, but that's just stuff that they've put out there themselves. We're not going to be upsetting anyone to where, you know, we'd get, framed with any CP or any stuff like that.
And that CIA document actually leads back into disclosure and
right.
And the soft disclosure the government is doing with the extraterrestrials, with the UAPs, with all of that coming around right now. They've softly disclosed their astral projection experiments, and we're going to cover some of that today.
Right, this has come out with some of this soft disclosure. These are declassified things that the government really did. The CIA really funded these black ops programs in astral projection. And we're going to get into what it is, what the government did with it, what other people throughout history have done with it, what we here at Bridging Realms have done with it, and then what you, the listener, and you, the Bridging Realms participant, can do yourself. You know, you can do a little astral projection at home. False, I know, is wanting to get into some of that, like he said, and we'll talk some more about that. It's going to be a very exciting and mind-opening episode.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, let's bridge these realms.
The Bridging Realms Project would like to thank our official sponsor, Mundie's Chapstick. It's 100% all natural. We like to sponsor products that are natural, that do not have any harmful chemicals, and come from nature and nourish the body.
Yeah, and something I am just now reading in our copy. This is not your typical chapstick. This is actually butthole chapstick. So this is for your chapped ass. So say you're using a public restroom or maybe a work restroom. You're using it frequently. You had a bad gas station burrito. You just take out the Mundies. It's big. It's like a really long, big stick. It kind of feels like a lubricant. And you take this Mundies and you rub it just all over your ass crack.
It does look, in the photo, the advertisement they sent, it looks a lot smaller, like a regular chapstick would look, but it was surprisingly large when I got it out of the box. And I'll admit, I did use it on my lips at first. I did not know it was for your asshole. So I was just, using this very large chapstick on my lips, and did not know it was for the asshole. I'm glad I know now. And I'm glad, that I was informed before I used it again, because they only sent us the one sample, and I'm just now being informed that False has used that on his ass. Yes,
and I had used it on my ass prior to Dr. Gene using it on his lips, of course.
So you fucking, like, you opened it and then used it on your asshole and then put it back into the shipping box and taped it back up?
Mundie's Chapstick, now for assholes. Made of 100% natural whale cum.
So let's get into Astral Projection. That's the topic of the day. And for listeners who maybe don't know what it is, this is a term used. It's to describe an intentional, like, out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called an astral body, and that is separate from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it throughout the universe. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's like you get into a state of, say, heavy meditation, and you're able to transmit your consciousness into a form and take that form wherever you want it to go. And, the skill level that you have depends, that depends on how far you can get and, what you can see. And this is a very difficult thing to do. Not anybody can just, start meditating and astral project themselves to the next room,
Yeah, and, in some circles it's been described as pseudoscience, to which I say, fuck those guys.
Right, that's a bullshit word around here. Pseudoscience is just not a word that we like to talk about. This is real science. This is real shit here.
I want to kind of add, really, just fuck anybody that's shitting on someone else's beliefs, all
right?
Together. Like,
yeah.
Just because you can't fucking do it doesn't mean that I can't fucking do it. Doesn't mean that Dr. Gene can't fucking do it.
That's right.
Fuck
yeah.
you.
Right. They can like pseudo suck my ass. We can see astral projection through much of history, especially looking back in religious texts. There's a lot of, mysticism and, like, meditation and shit that happens in religions. So when you look at things like, in the Bible, there's some astral projection there, like definitely with Jesus appearing and all kinds of shit that he did definitely falls into this category.
Oh, they're straight projections into heaven and hell in the Bible, astral projection. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and if you go to Buddhism, astral projection is a defined ability of people who reach the fourth jhana.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking all over the place, dude. In fact, it's a huge plot point in Ace Ventura 2 when Nature Calls.
Yeah.
Because he becomes a Buddhist monk and masters that religion. And he astral projects himself several times, you know?
Yeah, and really that film is kind of a sacred text all upon itself.
Right? If you also look, you know, which we do quite a bit in ufology, to the ancient Egyptian world. You know, we look a lot at these hieroglyphics and shit in the ancient alien theory realm, but there's a lot in the ancient Egyptian religious texts about this soul travel and things like that, where you know, the soul has this ability to hover outside the physical body, which is exactly what you're doing with astral projection. So you know, it could have some ties there to ancient Egypt.
Yeah, and even going back to ancient times in China, in the Taoist alchemical practice, they believed in the creation of an energy body that would be separate, and they described it as kind of a pearl that is circulated. So the energy body could awaken from the sleeping body and explore, and then just return, and the other body would awaken, and they would merge back into one.
Right, and there's, I mean, you look at these, there's very similar stuff in, like, Hinduism, in the, you know, cultures in Japan, and many more.
Yeah, it's truly been practiced for centuries upon centuries by all sorts of people worldwide, basically.
Right, and people don't realize how much it's in these texts, you know, and how much it's happened. So we want to wake people up to know that this ability is possible, and, you know, it's been used in good ways, it's been used in some nefarious ways, which we will talk about here in a bit, and then we'll, of course, talk about how you can use it to better your life and bridge some new realms, you know? If there are listeners out there who are remaining skeptical, which we do encourage, you know, stay skeptical. Don't believe everything you read, see, or hear. Of course, unless it's coming from us, you know, here at the Bridging Realms Project, who are always trying to preach truth to you. We do want to say, you know, hey, skeptics out there, guess what? Astral projection has been proven and confirmed by the United States government. It's declassified. It's part of soft disclosure, and it happened. You know, they had a total program about it.
Yeah, in the late 70s and early 80s, the CIA ran a program called Stargate. So this Stargate program was their experimentation into the psychic realm. So it was really focused on astral projection. You know, astral projection, as we said, dates back centuries, dates back to many societies. And now we're seeing our government really take it seriously.
Right.
In these leaked documents.
Yeah, I had false, comb over these leaked documents. You know, I myself know a lot about astral projection, but am not as much into diving into leaked documents as you know, False Freedom is. This dude gets a full-on rock-hard chub for leaked documents, and it's not just the blue chew. It's not just him chewing those boner pills to get a rockin' hard boner for conspiracy stuff. He really, really, he gets to leaking for leaked documents, you know?
Yeah, so there's some pretty detailed information in these documents. They ran multiple experiments. They would lock the subjects away separately, and they would have them remote view different places, and they would get these extremely detailed accounts that were similar about these remote areas. So it's hard to say that they're 100% accurate, but they also were emphasizing that there were some that were pretty much accurate.
Right, yes. It's like they didn't want to admit this, They almost didn't want to admit that it was accurate, and they looked for some way that, it could have been faked, and they couldn't figure it out. I'm gonna say this is confirmation. It was accurate. I don't think there's any way they could have faked this. These guys were astral projecting.
The papers actually go on to say anomalous cognition is possible and has been demonstrated, and this conclusion is not based on belief, but rather on commonly accepted scientific criteria. That right there, the CIA is admitting there are anomalies in the brain functions, and they cannot explain what happened, but scientifically, yes, those anomalies exist.
Right, it's there. It's fucking proven by science. Anybody who says it can't happen, right there. Like, they can, eat some spoon-fed government CIA ass, because that's what they're saying. They did the test. It happens. They don't know how to fucking explain it, but it's there. They declassified this a while ago, actually, and there's a fucking movie about it, right?
There totally is a movie about it. The Men Who Stare at Goats, starring some pretty major movie stars.
Right. I've seen this movie. I've smoked quite a bit of weed since then. But I'm pretty sure it has like fucking George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
George Clooney and Ewan McGregor, and the dude. Isn't the dude in it?
Yeah, the dude is in it.
Fucking Jeff Bridges, legendary Jeff Bridges,
Mr. True Grit.
Yeah, right. And of course, Kevin Spacey.
So some people are more inclined to be talented at astral projection. It's kind of like basketball players. How some people are just naturally better at basketball. They're better athletes.
Like many talents, yeah.
Yeah, so some people are better at astral projection, and it's easier to find these people and just put them to work than it is to actually train people to astral project. So, they're out there looking for the Michael Jordan, or maybe even Michael Jackson or Michael Tyson even, of astral projection.
Of course. Yeah, they want to get that skilled standout person and have them working for the U.S. government, because this was at a crucial time, because they're hearing through the grapevine, through intelligence, that other countries, other nations are also studying astral projection and psychic abilities.
Yeah, maybe like the Michael Douglas or the Michael Chiklis, even the Michael Richards of astral projection.
Hell yeah, man. You want the Kramer of astral projection. You want that guy that's going to bust in and be like, guess what, CIA? I went to this place that you're not even fucking expecting, and I've got this crazy information. They need that to really shake up their day.
Yeah, and, there's a crazy story out there that they actually did a remote mission to Mars through astral projection.
I've heard of this, right?
In the year 1 million BC.
So they astral projected back in time to Mars, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
And they found these tall, slender creatures who were just kind of ancient, they're dying, and they're very philosophical about life.
Oh shit! So they went back and found some ancient Martians and spoke to them, communicated, with them on Mars.
Yeah, and these Martians were totally aware of the death of their species.
Wow, that's kind of like we are now. I mean, we've got a good 25 to 40 years left on the planet before we're probably fucking cooked from climate change, I know a lot of people think that's a hoax, and we will have an upcoming episode, a big episode that we'll be announcing some details for soon on climate change. But yeah, we're possibly, going downhill. So maybe we're in that same kind of realm right now where that dying Martian race was. And, we here on Bridging Realms, we're getting philosophical. We're talking about the human race and trying to transcend. And hopefully we're not in the end of days, right?
Yeah, and one could argue that the Antichrist himself is in office currently.
That gets argued quite a bit, and I heard it also argued when President Obama was in office.
Oh, even more when Obama was in office, I heard it.
Right. I also heard it quite a bit around the time of 9/11 when George W. Bush was in office about him being the Antichrist. So there have been several, potential Antichrists, at least in the last, couple of decades.
I remember when Bill Clinton got his cock sucked in the White House. He was kind of viewed as an Antichrist type figure.
Right. That's a very, characteristic thing of a demon that would be very powerful, whatever, is to get his knob slobbed in the Oval Office, which is what Bill Clinton did do. So, that makes sense. I had heard those rumors too. I'm sure I didn't hear much, but I'm sure that there were also those rumors about George H.W. Bush, right? I mean, especially with the whole 1,000 points of light kind of speech that he was famous for. That was kind of esoteric.
Oh yeah, for sure. And going back to the days of Reagan, I mean, they tried to kill that motherfucker.
Oh, for sure. The one guy, I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know if anybody knows any conspiracy theories about him. Throw it to us, but I don't know that anybody thought Jimmy Carter was the Antichrist.
He really just kind of has a sweet smile.
Really sweet man, and he does like Habitat for Humanity and shit. Like he's building houses for people, and he's got that nice southern accent. I don't know many people that really hate the guy. I guess Republicans, but other than that, like I don't know any conspiracy theories about him. I don't know if he was really seen as the Antichrist.
Counterpoint, it was kind of accepted in the Bible that the Antichrist would be beloved by all.
Right, true. And, a lot of people love our current president, Donald Trump. Like, I'd say he's pretty popular.
Yeah, definitely polls well.
So for the last part of our episode today, we wanted to explain to you, the listener, how to astral project yourself, how to do this at home, bridge this realm, teach yourself a new way to use your brain, get yourself to that new level of human being where you have this ability that, we should all have. Our brain has this ability, some better than others, but we're only using a certain percentage. We need to unlock our minds and use these skills that, that are given to us by the universe, right?
Right. We're born with it. And as Dr. Gene said, some people are better than others, but don't let that discourage you from ever trying anything.
Right. Like, I know myself, I've become very skilled at astral projection. I mean, I got my doctorate through this kind of thing. I astral projected myself to Arcturia, which is a distant star system. I went to Arcturia City Community College, which is a nice extraterrestrial institution. And I took a bunch of classes, and I ended up getting a doctorate. And some people don't recognize that doctorate here on Earth, and they can, like I've said before on this podcast, eat my ass. They can fucking suck it, okay? Because I'm tired of people calling me, not a doctor or not as good as someone like, Dr. Stephen Greer or Dr. William Burns. I'm, more of a rogue guy like Giorgio Tsoukalos or a Diamond David Childress. But I do have that doctor that I'm going to keep on the front of my name because I did that work. I astral projected myself to Arcturia, and I learned at their university. I'm going to be, teaching False how to do it too. He's been thinking about taking some classes.
Yeah, there's a lot of places I want to go. Here locally, even.
Right, and Arcturians, I will tell you, False, they look a lot like humans. Very similar to, like, the Nordics. They are very humanoid form with just, larger eyes and very beautiful silver-like hair, You would definitely, I think, be into some Arcturian ladies. So you should definitely try astral projecting yourself onto the ACCC campus.
You had me at ladies.
Right? Get yourself enrolled and better yourself. That's what this episode's all about, is bridging those realms, bettering yourself as a cosmic human being.
I've really been trying to find a place to take a women's studies course, and I think ACCC is maybe the right place for me.
I think it is too. You should definitely, once we go through the how-to here on astral projection, look into those classes, and I think you could do some, great stuff.
Thanks, Doc, and we will get to the tutorial on astral projection here in just a minute after this short commercial break.
We at Bridging Realms would like to thank our official sponsor, Mundie's Chapstick. Chapstick, for what we now know is your butthole.
Yes, Mundie's, as you know, is made of all natural whale cum. Mundie's, taking the cum to your tum through your bum. And we're back from the commercial break and ready to enlighten you with the ability to astral project.
Right, and we'd like to point you to our website where we have a tutorial on the Bridging Realm style of astral projection, but our website is still down due to our web host being a complete fuckface and really fucking us around here. I think they have some maybe connections to the CIA or something, like maybe we're getting diddled around or something here, but I know it's really pissing False off. And we just can't seem to get, our website or our Patreon back up.
It's really hard to run these operations when you're taking in no income. I have basically reduced my hours at GameStop to the bare minimum just to bring this great content to you, the listener.
Right. We are working hard, doing a lot of work and a lot of research here, bringing you this content, bringing you this exposed truth here at Bridging Realms. So, we're going to hopefully get those back up, be able to, get the word out there on our website, get the word out, do more talks, expose more truths, make some more money, hopefully, on that circuit, and through our Patreon, through you, the listener, bridging the realms and giving us your hard-earned cash through Patreon. But in lieu of that, we'll send you to a very reputable site, I believe, WikiHow, right? WikiHow.com.
Yeah, it's a very informative article with really some excellent illustrations.
Yeah, it's called How to Perform Astral Projection. So we'll put this in the show notes, or if you want to Google it, that's what it's called, How to Perform Astral Projection. And we've gone through it, and yeah, it's got some very informative stuff, really good illustrations, something we didn't have on our how-to. So this is really good and informative. So if you're at your computer, listening on your phone or tablet or something like that, and you can look along with us, please do. You just go to WikiHow and look up how to astral project. If you're driving, if you're listening to this in the car on the way to work or on a road trip, whatever your destination is, do not look up that, as we do not want to be responsible for any kind of car accidents or death, we want you to purposely be having an out-of-body experience, not for your soul to be taken by some sort of accident.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. According to the WikiHow article, you should start in the morning.
Right. They're saying do it in the morning, not at night, when you're tired. You're going to want to do it fresh in the morning, but they say that the fresh groggy mind is good for it. So I like to wake up with a fresh morning wake and bake bowl of cannabis. Just load a huge fucking bowl and get real baked, real high. This also helps with the state of meditation that we'll talk about later. But it does also lead right into number 2, which is creating the right atmosphere.
Yeah, you definitely want some reggae music on.
Right, yeah. Or some ambient world building EDM, just some electronics, something that's very very mystic and gets you in the mood, whatever works for you. But definitely smoking up a huge big ass bowl really does help.
The next item on the list is to lie down and relax.
Right. Again, this will be helped by that big-ass bowl of marijuana we were talking about. Just getting high as fuck and leaning back on your bed, your couch, your futon, whatever's most comfortable to you, and relaxing, getting into a total state of relaxation.
Yeah, just breathe and turn your brain off.
Yes. You can see the illustrations here. This dude, he looks totally relaxed. He's laying there. He looks, like he's taking a nap. The morning lady I'm noticing here, that she looks like somebody's going down on her.
Yeah, she is in an intense state of orgasm in this photo.
Right, yeah, she's like grabbing her hair and stuff. Like, who's under those covers? Is it the dude from the next photo,
Yeah, maybe it's an astral projection eating out going on.
Yeah, gray shirt dude down here is doing some work, I think, in his astral projection state. All right, well, let's move on.
Now we're going to part 2, which is moving the soul from the body. Step 1, reach a hypnotic state.
Yeah, you want to get to that hypnotic state, which is crucial here. And you can see, if you're following along in the illustration, there's like this swirl and kind of sun forming above him, like to where you can tell these are his mind energy waves that are swirling around and getting into this hypnotic state. And then you can see the next image, he's taken this bare human form with like no hair and shit, and you can see through to his brain. So it seems like his brain is really fucking turned on, right?
Yeah, and it totally appears like he's about to tickle his own foot.
Yeah. So maybe if tickling your foot kind of helps you get in that state, maybe that's some sensation there. But really, you wanna focus on your brain and how fucking huge it is, right? Because it's a big ass thing if you really think about it. So while you're trying to meditate and get into this hypnotic state, think about your brain just like floating up in your head there and really like coming alive and on and emanating past your skull and your stupid hair and shit,
Yeah, the next step kind of appears like you should take your hand and kind of clench it, and maybe move it up and down, and then release your hand like that, like you're throwing or squirting something.
Yeah, like you're throwing dice. Actually, I'll be real with you. It looks like he's jerking off. It kind of looks like a jerk off motion. So maybe it's saying to like just release that tension, any negative energy.
Yeah, and WikiHow's just kind of more of a family site, so it's a little they're not going to show him actually grabbing the dick.
Right. So if you go down to the next one here, it says to enter a state. You enter into a state of vibration.
Oh, that the woman in this picture has definitely entered into a state of vibration.
Yes, 100%. She is definitely in a state of vibration. This woman is clearly masturbating with I'm assuming WikiHow is telling you to use a vibrator here, ladies. I'm not a lady. False is not a lady. But if there's any ladies listening and you've anything about this state of vibration that you must get into, let us know. I've never used one of those. I know this lady definitely looks like she's having a good time.
She does. Moving on to the next item, use your mind to move your soul from your body. This guy is sucking his own dick.
Straight up, dude. I did not expect that, but, I'm thinking a lot of dudes, that'd be the first thing they'd fucking do. It's clear, though, that he has moved his soul out of his body. You can see he's kind of this translucent version of himself, but then has chosen to immediately go down on himself.
Oh, and now I went on to the next item, returning to the body, and he's just blasting on his own face.
Oh yeah, if you scroll down, you can see his soul is floating high above his body, but it's coming straight from his cock there. It's like just a full ectoplasm blast, full load, streaming down onto his own face. And I guess, if that's the choice you want to make, in the previous illustration, he had already kind of sucked his own dick. So
yeah, and maybe this is what the greats do.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were doing. That wasn't part of the Men Who Stare the Men Who Stare at Goats. Wasn't part of that movie. And you'd think, with the comedic tone that parts of that movie took, they probably would have mentioned it had it been a part of it. But whoever wrote this WikiHow article definitely has made this clear that sucking your own dick and blasting on your own face, or in the ladies portion, just rocking your own vag with a vibe.
Yeah.
That's definitely a part of this. I had not realized, actually, that in my own astral projection, definitely, especially when I was in classes at Arcturus City Community College, they would definitely have not, appreciated me blasting on any faces during class. I definitely would have been taken in by the campus constable,
Yeah, in our PC culture, it's definitely no longer acceptable to blast in class, Not like it was. Moving on to part 3, which is actually exploring the astral plane itself. So you've gone through all these steps, you've tested it out, you've returned to the body. Now you're projecting your soul from the body once again, and you're going out to explore.
Right. This is part of confirming that you are projecting your soul from your body. And not just like having a dream, We've all had dreams that feel very real, like we really have gone to a different place, but, it wasn't. It was just, a dream. It was very, very vivid. So you want to confirm this by, and you can see if you're following along, and for those of you that are driving or unable to look, we will explain this to you. The illustration they've shown here is a woman she's astral projected herself and then seems to be farting on her own face. So that's an important part of the first confirmation, is getting out of your body and then with your astral projected self farting onto your own face, directly into your nose and mouth.
Yeah, and then we go down one photo, and it appears the male body is now stealing pills from a nightstand.
Right, you're going to want to focus in on an object, you know. You need to go into another room that your body, your physical body, is not in, and explore that room, you know. Check out anything you may not have noticed before. So this doesn't need to be a room that you're familiar with, right? You're gonna want to go into, like, you know, a friend's room in another house, or a family member's room in your house that you're maybe not allowed in, or and go through some things that, you know, you've never seen before. So really, like, their secret areas, you know, and check out stuff that you've never seen before. This is a way to confirm that you really did astral project, because later when you're back in your body, you'll then want to go back to that private area and check to confirm to see if those things are there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and following up that, the next step is to explore further. And it's kind
Right.
of got a pretty good suggestion from the photo as to where you would want to go explore. Wouldn't you agree?
Right, because, you know, after you've confirmed where these pills are, and you're going to go into, you know, your grandpa's room and get the pills, you're going to want to, you know, finish off the rest of your night. So you can tell here it clearly has this guy astral projecting out into, like, a wooded area. From what the illustration looks like to me, I'd say that's probably, like, behind a rest stop or something, right?
It's definitely behind a rest stop, yes.
Yeah, definitely behind a rest stop on the highway. So it seems like he's astral projected there, right?
Yeah, for sure. It also appears like he's performing some kind of act with a tentacle, like something you'd see on La Blue Girl.
Yeah, I think he's getting fucked in the ass by this tentacle. It's what it clearly is depicting to me. I'm not sure what you're getting.
No, definitely getting fucked by the tentacle.
So yeah, just explore further. You know, that's what they're encouraging here, is exploring your boundaries. Maybe this guy wasn't into any kind of tentacle shit before, and then, you know, he astral projected to behind this rest stop and got, you know, fucked by a tentacle, and maybe he really dug it, so he's into it now. He bridged a new realm, you know. He explored some new territory and found out something new about himself, which is what we're encouraging with this astral projection. You know, this episode, like we said, is all about bettering yourself as a human being and as a cosmic being.
Yeah, and the final step is to once again return to your body. You're tired at this point. You have done a ton of pills that you stole from your grandpa.
That's true.
You have gone out behind the rest stop. You fucked who knows what.
And been fucked by who knows what, you know? So you're pretty tired. It takes a lot of mental, physical, and cosmic energy to astral project like this. So you've got to get back to your body. You've got to return back to your physical self to recharge.
We're so excited to have bridged yet another realm with you, the realmies out there.
Yeah, I hope you got a lot from today's episode. I hope you're going to go out there and practice astral projecting yourself and explore new realms and better yourself as a human being here in the universe.
Until next time, I'm False Freedom.
And I'm Dr. Gene Carlisle.
And maybe we will catch you on the astral plane.
Bridging Realms is a part of the Bridging Realms Network in association with the Bridging Realms Project, with additional support provided by realmies like you. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Bridging Realms Project.